Ah, hello.
Phototherapy.
Where's Marie? Well, the country of Georgia is a wonderful ancient country located to the south of Russia, the north of Turkey, and to the east of the Black Sea. Many Americans did not hear about Georgia until the collapse of the Soviet Union, and now they know that this wonderful, hospitable country is one of the ancient countries of the world. Many of the cities are 3,500 years old. So it's always a pleasure to work in Georgia and to especially be able to help and train and improve the knowledge base of the physicians and nurses in areas of Georgia which are rural and in high mountain regions. I've worked in Georgia now for almost 25 years, and the entire country is beautiful and very diverse. The area we chose to work in for this project is called Kartli, and it is to the south of the capital city of Tbilisi. The whole country of Georgia has one of the highest stillbirth and neonatal death rates in all of Europe. And the region of southern Kartli has the highest rates in all of Georgia. And that's why almost 12 months ago we decided a Call to Serve International, which is an international humanitarian and development organization that has worked in Georgia since the collapse of the former Soviet Union in 1991. And Rotary International and my Rotary Club, Rotary South, in District 6080, began thinking about how to solve this problem of the high number of neonatal deaths and stillbirths. We decided that we would work directly with the Georgian Medical Association. Dr. Gia Tilasani has helped found that association many years ago, and they've done wonderful work in training Georgian physicians. We are also working with the Rotary Club Tbilisi International, one of 2 Rotary clubs in the whole country. So these young Rotarians are eager to be helpful and to work with us in the service project. Now, what about Kartli? Well, Kartli has 8 maternity hospitals. In total, they deliver about 4,000 babies every year. The problem is that 8 to 10% of these babies have difficulty breathing. So the first 2 minutes of a baby's life after delivery is critically important. If the baby's breathing normally, then everything's fine, and the baby's given to the mother and everybody is joyful. If the baby's not breathing, or if the baby's struggling to breathe, then instant action is needed. Now, to have instant action, you need teamwork, you need proper training, and you need the right size supplies and equipment. When we try to intubate or resuscitate an adult, we use a breathing tube the size of my thumb. When we try to intubate a baby to help them breathing, we use a little tube half the size of my finger. So think about it. If you have a tube this big and you need a tube this big, no matter how well educated you are, no matter how compassionate you are, no matter how much you want to help the baby, you can't. So this program developed as a comprehensive program. We're training physicians and nurses. We're translating the American Academy of Pediatrics neonatal resuscitation standard course into the Georgian language, which incidentally there are 14 individual ancient languages of the world, of which Georgia has its own alphabet. So this beautiful Georgian language has now one of the first books translated to help the resuscitation of babies. So we have the doctors, we have the training program, we have the books, we have a simulation center where we bring small baby mannequins and teach the doctors and nurses how to go through the practical movements of intubating the baby with the breathing tube. This is the small breathing tube that is just the right size for small babies. And so we open the mouth and put the breathing tube in. But if you don't have the breathing tube and it's not the small size, then the baby cannot be resuscitated. Next, it's very important that the equipment and the supplies be available immediately. And to do that, we brought the same supplies that we use at the University of Missouri School of Medicine Neonatal Intensive Care Unit. So their medical director, our medical director, John Pardalis, came with me last year with 2 of our nurses, and we started the training program. We began the supply program, and we started working with the Georgian physicians and nurses who will continue this training forever and ever. This isn't a one-time project. This is a project to help Georgian babies' lives forever. So our team came from the University of Missouri, sponsored by Rotary International, a Call to Serve International. We spent 2 weeks here, trained 123 Georgian physicians and nurses, and then we selected 4 outstanding physicians who came to visit us at the University of Missouri for a month in March. During that time, they became part of our clinical faculty. Dr. Gia Tilasani, Dr. David Korkvalidze, Dr. Sharena Chankvatadze, and Dr. Hatuna Lomaruri came and were wonderful Georgian Goodwill ambassadors as well as excellent physicians. They were able to see how our 48-bed neonatal ICU works, how we train our nurses, how our doctors are trained, and how other specialists in America, such as respiratory therapists and intensive care specialists for nutrition, who specialize in making sterile total parental nutrition, all work together as a big team, including our transport team. So we're back in Georgia now, retraining, and we had a graduation exercise June 19th, where we recognized 183 Cuomo-Cartley physicians and nurses who have completed our training course. We're very proud of them. It takes a lot of work on their part to do the readings and to think about the problems and to take the very rigorous tests. But we're proud that they are now certified to do neonatal resuscitation. Again, neonatal resuscitation is the first 2 minutes of the baby's life, 120 seconds. And if you stop and think about it, this is a very short time. The people attending the births have to be able to think quickly, understand the baby's in dire need of help, find the equipment, and do all this in 120 seconds, not very long. The other thing that is very important to recognize and to think about is that these doctors and nurses, even though they've been trained with the teaching didactic part of our presentation, they have the books in their language and they have the supplies, they need to practice. If you stop and think about Michael Jordan, one of the best basketball players in the world, he practiced every day. Your Georgian soccer and rugby players practice every day. These doctors and nurses need to practice every day in their mind and certainly on a regular basis. And we're taking our simulation mannequins and training these doctors on a regular basis, so when the time comes and the baby needs 2 minutes of instant help, the doctors and nurses will be ready. This is a pilot program with the Ministry of Health. We're doing the Cuomo-Cartley region, and in addition to what I've already spoken about, we also worked with the Ministry of Health and did a hospital assessment. So each of the 8 hospitals in Cuomo-Cartley have been assessed according to their doctors and nurses, the professional training, the equipment they have, the supplies that they have, and the facilities of the hospital themselves. And each hospital was given a level, and with that level from the Minister of Health comes recognition about which kind of babies and which kind of deliveries each hospital is best equipped to train. In Tbilisi, we have the highest level 3, and in Cuomo-Cartley, we have levels 2 and level 1. For the future, We have great plans. We want to continue this program and expand it to the other regions. The Ministry of Health hopes in working with us to have this program finished in 2018 so that all doctors throughout the country of Georgia in all 9 regions will be properly trained with the adequate supplies of the right size, the right small sizes for little babies, to be able to provide this instant 2 minutes of essential care. Then, as we move forward, we want to introduce a new program which is called Stable. And Stable is after the 2 minutes, the baby's breathing, but now the baby needs to be stabilized. And in stabilizing, we'll teach the doctors and nurses, both in the delivery room and on the floors, how to take care of these precious little babies. And then finally, we've saved the baby's life for the first 2 minutes with neonatal resuscitation. We've stabilized the baby with the Stable program. Now some of the babies will need to be transported to Tbilisi and other places. And so we need to develop a standard for medical transport for the babies. This entire program from the University of Missouri School of Medicine, A Call to Serve, Rotary International, the Boone County Medical Society, and working with our Georgian counterparts under the auspices of the Minister of Health has one goal, and that's to save Georgian babies' lives. We like to call it breathing life into Georgian babies because in Missouri, in Georgia, and throughout the world, babies are precious and they really are the future of our world. And I believe the Georgian way to say this is Baushwebi Chemi Mama Melia. So thank you for being part of this educational experience, for listening to what we're doing in Georgia and what the Georgian physicians are doing to help their patients. Didi Madloba, thank you very much.